Welcome to Hidden Gem. My name is Christina. I'm a High Vibrational Energy Intuitive. So, I am the founder of Readings by Christina in the city of Fall River and Divinity 648 in New Bedford, Massachusetts. And this time around, we are closing out a lot of karmic cycles. And one of the karmic cycles is craft, trickery, manipulation, and so many other things that fall into that uh, low vibrational, toxic realm of energy. So, one of my karmic cycles that has come to a complete is allowing anyone to affect, taint, alter, obstruct, block, or any other word you can come up with in that realm of things. My path, my energy, anything about me in any way, shape, size, and or form. And I've been doing a lot of work with higher vibrational energy. I've been really shown just who the fuck I am in ways that blow my mind on levels that nobody really around me has demonstrated the ability to comprehend. And I've had my website attacked, I've had my platform attacked, I've had my office door attacked, and individuals, for some reason, see that it's not exactly happening the way that they wanted it to happen, so they just keep trying even harder. And it's just like, why? If you have not, we're in this new era, and I know everybody knows this that's watching this because you know about the other platform, and I do morning messages, and I've been talking about this for a very long time. We are in a new era. We are supposed to stop just accumulating new layers and levels of information, but to actually start applying them. She's got a testimonial evidence page on her website, and there's actual video footage, censored for privacy of the person who's in it. But it is available uncensored if you'd like, if you need to summons anything. But you've got a person whose only objective, whose only mission, whose only passion is to raise the vibrational energy around themselves and those around them. This person has proven to be valid in all layers and levels of accuracy when it comes to communication. And a lot of people like to say, oh, well, you're right, but not so much right? And then like weeks go by and more stuff unfolds and all the pieces come together. And when you spin things around, it's like, oh yeah. And then it's that powerful thing of free will. A lot of people are actually going to start comprehending that they do embody something called free will. Now, if I tell you something as a reader, any reader tells you something, it stays in your head. It's something that you now live by and you're waiting for it to happen. And it might not unfold the way that it's supposed to unfold because you're so busy holding on to that chunk of information that you allow it to alter the way that you make your decisions. Therefore, you are not in control of your life. You are not in control of your world. You left that free will, that power, that control in the hands of the reader that gave you that information. Okay? And then when things didn't unfold the way that you expected it to unfold, or that you had hoped that it would unfold, or the way that that reader told you it very well should be unfolding this way, you go and you point fingers and you start talking shit and you run your mouth all kinds of different ways. But not realizing that the error is on you. Because when a reader tells you something, that information is a check-in point. That is well, if I don't like this, what am I going to do? That is the point of individuals having divination abilities. That is the reason why we have layers and levels to the type of information and energy that we have access to. Right. This is why we have that pyramid example. So the lower layer is going to be psychic energy. It's when you get those split splats. I had a precognitive moment. It's like a chunk or one puzzle piece out of the entire series set box collection. You've got one here, one there, one over there. And then it's like, oh, that doesn't make sense, or it didn't unfold the way that it was supposed to unfold. And either your reader is limited to just psychic abilities, or the vibration and your tendencies and where you're at on your karmic cycles. That's what's restricting you from the type of information that can be delivered to you. And it's not that the words and the information and the energies are not around, because it's always there. We are all multidimensional people. Just some of us aren't capable of raising your vibration high enough to get there. And that's nothing bad. Um, that's nothing bad. That's like without being insulting. You know when you go to a car lot and you really like this car and it comes in like five different trims. You know, you could get the ST, the standard version, you could get like the luxury version, you could get the platinum package. Some people, not throwing shade, are in that standard package where it's just the body, it's just the interior, and it's just power windows and locks. Okay, there's no leather seats, there's no MP5 player, there's no DVDs, there's no heated seats, there's nothing. It's just cloth, black seats on a black interior of a nice black stock vehicle car. And that's okay. Okay, because one, we all come here with soul contracts. We decide what we want when we get here. There's a very well possibility you're an amazing, incredible, powerful goddess deep down inside, but you got tired of the fuckery and you just wanted to have a nice, smooth experience, a nice, smooth ride. And now that everybody else is awakening, you're like, well, what the fuck? Sorry. That was the agreement that you agreed to. You understood. And if that's not for you, meaning deep down inside, you know you're something that is more than what you are capable of demonstrating, that's how you know if that's for you. And then there's those who manipulated and abused abilities that are a part of the divine, okay? Legit, a part of the divine. As above, so is below. If you had the ability to tap into any type of gift, any type of spiritual blessing, and you used it to harm, block, obstruct, hold on to, withhold, or any other word in that realm of fuckery, when you incarnated here, you are just that standard issued model. You don't have it. It's not something like you can touch it, you can feel it, you can experience it, but you can't have it because you've abused it. And that's your punishment in this cycle of karmic lessons. And karmic lessons are more than just follow the moon phases, follow equinox, all that other stuff, which I'll get into later. It's, family karmic cycles. It's friendship karmic, like, people who you allow to stay into your energy, you get to clean their karmic cycles if their energy's still in yours, right? Then you've got that. That's why people do cleansings, by the way, at the end of the year, right before the new year. They want to make sure they purge everybody else's energy off of them. So that way, whatever comes to them from the new year, it's theirs and theirs alone, which is the real reason why people do that. Subconsciously, right? That's how it originated. But you've got generational karmic cycles, you've got life, past life karmic cycles, which is what everybody's dealing with right now. So on my platform for Divinity 648, I have a podcast where I do morning messages, and I kind of try to keep it simple because I'm reading energy. I'm feeling out that energy that's settling in, because as you know, just like the sun and the moon and every other planet, there's sound waves that get projected from each planet, okay? And eventually it comes down here. And eventually it comes down like on a physical level where we are experiencing that energy. This is why we call things out like, full moon in Taurus and all this other nonsense to explain what types of information is going to be coming to you in the different ways that it's going to affect you based on the different placements within your birth chart. So it is so important, so very, very, very important that you're paying attention to your energy. You're paying attention to the way that external influences are affecting your energy. If you are in a happy-go-lucky mood and you walk by someone or drive by someone and all of a sudden you're in this like, what the fuck, and all aggressive, you need to call out, please remove external influences. Sorry about that. So you're cleaning life cycles, you're cleaning major energy. Sorry, I had to interrupt this, and I hate when that happens, but it happens. I'm a mom and I answer my phones. So right now, we're going through major, major energy, right? Morning messages is that subtle energy as it's touching us, and we're constantly getting new energy, and it comes into like the flow, right? So what you have to also remember, and this is why I'm doing it on this podcast and this YouTube platform. And of course, it's going to be on my website available to my subscribers, along with the rest of the videos that are going to be regularly recorded just like this. So I'm going to load this up with as much hidden information as I can, because moving forward, that information is going to be restricted just to my subscribers, okay? So right here, right now, this is juicy stuff and you want to pay attention. We are energy. Everything is energy. Quantum physics, right? We're in a new era. It's time to start applying knowledge instead of just accumulating it, right? So that's this era that we're really in. It's that open your eyes and really start paying attention. So we are, these amazing, amazing flames of energy. Okay. And the best way that I can describe our flames is the northern lights. I mean, like, except for the fact that it's going in the wrong direction, because our flames go up just like a regular flame would. But it's exactly like that. And the colors blend in exactly like that, which is like the colors of your aura, right? And it's so beautiful to me that when I get to look at people on a soul level, because the different ways that their aura and their actual flame just blends in, for me, that's beautiful. And if there's ever an individual who's really toxic as fuck, I just avoid them altogether, because like nobody wants to see that shit. And it's beautiful to me because you get to see people's true intentions, people's true motives. And then it gets really intimate, right? Because as a high vibrational energy intuitive, a high vibrational energy sensitive, that means you've tapped into cosmic consciousness. That means you have activated your DNA, and not just the blood DNA, but your soul's DNA, which is that ancestry, that real lineage that comes from all of your lifetimes. It's an accumulation of your lifetimes, not just what your father's father's father and mother's mother's father's mother once was, okay? And that's a problem down here. We keep holding on to race and all this other fuckery. And for me, even on like my podcast, I've always said, whenever I look at racism, I get fucking confused because I feel like I'm in the middle and there's like four paths all around me. And then my sister goes and does the DNA, and we find out that we are a part of all four human races, because there's only four human races: yellow skin, red skin, black skin, white skin. Four human races. Four main gods, okay? Four directions. That's it, okay? Four seasons. That's it. Four human races. The fifth one, the one that's in the middle, there's a reason why I'm pointing to this. There's a reason why this is in existence the way that it is. The main God, the one that's internal, not just in the planet, not just like us, not just and all the other ways that I know it to be true. There's a fifth one, right? Five, right? That's that equivalent energy of Isanami no Mikoto. That's that Japanese goddess who came down and saw this unruly mass in water just kind of fucking around in outer space doing nothing. And she takes this gigantic sphere and she starts to cultivate and nurture and bring this earth into a different substance, right? Kind of like a baker. You take the flour and all the ingredients, and the next thing you know, you got this beautiful fucking cake and it's absolutely delicious. Well, that's kind of like the same deal, right? Everything we do down here, there's an above. As above, so is below. You better fucking know that shit. Okay, there's a reason why we have 12 grades of school and there's 12 zodiac signs, karmic lessons, right? Educational lessons here. We really need to start applying the knowledge that we have, basically. And what I need you guys to understand, because I'm not trying to be here lecturing people, but at the same time, you're closing out cycles that supersede anything that anybody here has been able to demonstrate. And I've been on YouTube. I love YouTube. I go on YouTube and I will speed through certain readers. I only follow certain readers. I know which readers are fake. And as soon as I catch on that they're fake, I'm like, who are they copying? And I go follow that reader and I watch them and I'm like, wow, she's so close, so close. This person's really waking up. This person's almost touching cosmic consciousness. She's getting there. And it's exciting for me. It's exciting for me because, like, in 2017, I moved to an apartment and the most cattiest toxic person was now in my space and I had to tolerate it. And I kept telling myself every time I got psychically attacked, every single time, I cannot wait for more people like me to wake the fuck up. I cannot wait for everybody to be here. I cannot wait for star seeds to actually say, yes, I know who the fuck I am. Thank you very much. I cannot wait for people to start validating things. And then sure as shit, there's more movies that support things that are not attacking the understanding of being consciously awakened. There's more movies that are actually in alignment and supporting with ancient teachings and knowledge. This isn't mythology, you know? And it's beautiful. That movie Infinity, I was so impressed, so impressed. There was some embellishments, of course, because it's a movie, but I was so impressed with that movie. It really blew my mind, and I was just like, wow, they did such a good job, because it's true. If you are going through that spiritual awakening, you're going through that journey of unfoldment, right? That path that it takes for that lotus flower to go from the bottom of those murky, dirty ass groggy waters to the tippity top surface without a drop of mud or any soil on those petals. You know, that process is fucking dark. It's painful. And you keep going through really fucked up shit that is meant to destroy you so that it can teach you who the fuck you are. And the way that they projected that in that movie just blew my mind, because it's true. You have to get hurt. You have to be triggered. And not necessarily, right? Because once you do all those lessons, because as above, so below, there's always polarity, yin yang. Now that you go through your final lessons, once you own your shit on all levels, that sitting at the top, enjoying the sun, no mud, no dirty waters, no weeds or anything trying to hold you down. Those moments of bliss, those moments of growth, those triggers that pull you up out of that comfort zone, now they're all high vibe. Now they're all like blessings. There's no more hardships. It's the complete opposite now. Being a high vibrational person, you know, people, they walk around and they claim the title. They walk around and they you know, I'm this, I'm that, you know, I can do this, I'm a priestess, I'm this, I'm that. Again, understand something. This is karmic cycles you're putting to bed. And at the bottom of that pyramid is the standard issue. And you're either that standard issue because you don't know how to embrace life correctly, or because you have abused the blessings of the divine somehow, some way. And if it's been recently, then you're definitely down there and you're like, what the fuck? I was up here, now I'm down here. What's going on? Right? Or you are in that energy because past lives you behaved that way, or you're in that energy because you, it's just where you're going to stay. And there's nothing wrong with that, because somebody's going to come along and love the shit out of that standard issue. And they're going to get aftermarkets and they're going to make that car customized to the way that they want it, meaning you. Because when you're born into this life, you're born into that standard issue. And it's up to you to display and build and create yourself as the true person you're supposed to be, not what everybody else is. And then you've got that second tier of the pyramid, right? The luxury model, where you might have leather seats, or power everything, but you don't have like all the extras. Okay. That is that's more of the, I've been through all this shit so many fucking times. I didn't do the best job. There were some things that I decided I wanted another chance at. So I consciously agreed to come down here and redo all of these karmic cycles so that way I can just do better. Because I know I'm better and I didn't like that final, almost like a game. Like, fuck, I kicked ass in this game, but I wish I did 1, 2, 3 way better. Now you have that opportunity to do better, and you're consciously awake, right? You can do the mediumship, you can do a lower layer of Reiki. I'm going to try to stay off that conversation. And you can do other things, but you're limited. And you're okay with that. And you know that you're a descendant of something very powerful, and you can channel spirit guides, and you can do really beautiful readings and uplift a lot of different individuals because you're a light worker, and that's what you agreed to when you came here. You were like, I know who I am. I've done all my lessons. I'm still going to be in service, but I want to do those things over, and I don't want any complications. So you have that, like, okay life where you've tolerated and demonstrated patience, and you did your role as a light worker, because maybe in this life your counterpart wasn't able to join in with you because they didn't want to repeat certain cycles. That's okay. And that's that feeling of thinking your partner's there, you just can never find them. Or maybe they're with you in spirit. Sometimes our partners are not physically manifested here. They're in spirit, so they can help you through everything. And sometimes we stay in marriages and commitments because we haven't learned all of our lessons yet. Because one, God, the root word for all gods and goddesses, God, apply the knowledge that you know. As above, so below. And you better know that shit goes round and around, so it continues. God would never want you to sacrifice your soul, your flame, your happiness, your passion, so that you can appease others, not even God. Okay? God would never want you to not be happy within yourself simply because you need to please others or it's the right thing to do. No. We are flames like the northern lights, and our flame is just like a normal flame. It goes up and down, and gravity and external influences go round and round like the northern lights, okay, like the ocean. When life is too much, when life is overwhelming, it's not meant to to snuff you out. It's not meant to take you out. It's meant to challenge you, motivate you to grow your flame higher. So that way the layers and levels that are building up because you're not maintaining life the way that you should be, kind of like Tetris, they're piling up. So either you clear that shit out, because you are a flame, clear that shit out, or you elevate and you elevate and you elevate. And those of you who know how to elevate naturally because you have spirit guides on a different level, right? I'll never forget when this amazing, because I think she's amazing regardless what anybody else has to say or even herself, amazing person, did my Akashic records. And she said things that I knew to be true, and I blew my mind that she was able to tell that it was true. It was kind of like, how did you know this? Who gave this to you? Because this is supposed to be unreachable information by anybody. And I know that to be true. So I was really like fascinated with the fact that she could say the things that she was saying to me, because I knew I gave permission to certain people to be able to read me, but at the same time I was just like pulling back and giving them other information, like they don't need to know all this, you can tell them whatever kind of deal. That's another thing about being high vibrational. You can totally control what other people are allowed to receive through card readings on you if you haven't noticed. It's true. So when she read my Akashic records, I was so happy and I wanted uncontrollably to interrupt her, and which I did every step of the way so I can give her that validation that the information she was saying to me is actually fucking true. And as much as it was blowing her mind, it was still blowing my mind too. And I knew that it was true because it's been something that has been said to me since a very small age. I've been channeling spirit since a very, very small age. You know, I've had teachers flock to me like, and what's the scoop on that one? They used to call me Hedda Harfer in my elementary school because I knew the juice on everybody all the time. And if it sounded like a tall tale at that very moment, you better know within 221 days that shit unfolded. You know, I've got family members to this day who have not owned their shit, who have shitted on the information I've given to them because it didn't happen within a day. And then now that when they look back and they check out their inventory of life, they're like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. You know, and that's fine. I'm okay with that because I already know. I already know. And I play dumb a lot too, right? Working with high vibrational, and I'm saying this because there's others like me who are waking up and experiencing all of this, and they're like, am I crazy? No, you're not fucking crazy. Yes, this is fucking fun because you are really realizing that those things about being the master of your universe, it's nothing like with the first layer and the second layer of that pyramid have even like that blew your fucking mind. Mediumship blows your fucking mind. Wait till you get to the top. Just wait. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I'll never forget the time I had Mr. White, one of my coworkers at Firming Company, come into my office. And I was talking to him about things, spiritual things, and we were talking about his daughter and all this stuff. And I was like, I just learned like maybe like the year before or like yeah, like a 6 months a year before, I had just learned how to bend time. And I'm saying bend time because that's the way that you guys can comprehend what it's like, but it's not really what it's called. Kind of like when we say we're jailbreaking a Fire Stick and in all actuality we just download an app, right? Kind of shit. Um we say things but it's not really what it is. So I was telling him about it. And I was like, watch, come over here. And I was like, listen, you want to know how I get all my work done and I can kick ass and I get shit done and it's like they make this shit look easy because it is fucking easy for me. I was like, I just stop time. And I learn what I got to learn, and I do what I got to do, and I move, 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 move. And I don't think about anything else. I zone the fuck out. Kind of like what I've been doing lately. I've been really slacking in a lot of important areas of my life because I have been forced to learn and apply law information to defend myself against one of my karmics. Um, Shit people have 4 years to learn, I had to do in like a year. And it's been stressful. So I've not been dedicating myself the way that I should in other areas because of that. But make no mistake, I'm finally where I need to be to feel semi confident in the judicial system, even though there's still a lot more to learn. Um, but I'm here and I'm doing the things that I'm supposed to do when I'm supposed to do them because the divine does not allow anyone to throw blockages, obstructions, delays, any bullshit on that path, like I started to say at the beginning of this video, and reminding you that I am referring to the fact that I'm throwing hidden gems at you left and right. Okay. I am a high vibrational energy intuitive. I'm very sensitive to high vibrational energy. I am multidimensional, which means I see through all the bullshit. All of it. Like last night, we had a very loud, it wasn't loud, but it was probably loud, because my daughter kept raising her voice with passion and excitement, right? Because we are Hispanic, we vibrate high, therefore our voices are high. Um, and we were debating this, right? Because when you text a cell phone and you have an Android and an iPhone, Androids light up green and iPhones light up blue. Okay. And it can switch up if you're blocked and all this other nonsense, whatever, whatever, whatever. Right. So, so when I text you or someone from an iPhone and it lights up green or blue, whatever, I know. Hidden gem. So when I texted my niece and I was like, I'm on my way to pick you guys up, I sent it from the iPhone and I took the iPhone with me. But when I was outside in the parking lot, I texted from the Android and I said, I'm here. Come out now. You had plenty of time because I took my time leaving. Her replies did not go to the Android, they went to the iPhone. So I kept texting from the Android to her to show that no matter how many times she replies back to me, it comes back to the Android because that's the last number that texted her. So it automatically responds to that number. And then I started texting from the iPhone to show that every time I text from the iPhone, it doesn't go to the Android, it goes back to the iPhone. And these two girls were still jumping up and down, yelling, 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 we're right, you're wrong, because they responded to my text, but the text response didn't come to me, it went to the iPhone. And I had that, I'm not getting notifications from the iPhone, I'm not paying to the iPhone, I texted you from the Android. So I'm texting, 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 um, or they're supposedly texting, but it's going to the wrong number. So I'm showing them last night, no matter how many times I text you from the Android, your reply always comes back to the Android, not to the iPhone. No matter how many times I text you from the iPhone, your reply comes to the iPhone, not the Android. So last night when I texted you from the Android, your reply should not have gone to the iPhone. It should have came to the Android. You understand? People like to fuck with high vibrational energy intuitives and INFJ personality types, thinking that we're dumb as fuck, but we're actually really fucking smart. So again, back to that court case, I've been high vibrating nonstop to the point where I've actually been smoking sativa, quite significant amount, more than usual. Not really. I smoke, um, like that song from Rihanna, "One spliff a day keeps the evil away." Well, I like to do a half of a spliff, or I'll go and I'll, smoke a little bit because I'm not really, I don't have a high tolerance for cannabis. I don't have a high tolerance for anything. I don't need too much. But I've learned how to control my vibration to the point where I can release that high like this, right? Because when you're high vibrational, some of the things you learn is molecular science, quantum physics. You learn how to work with the blood. You learn how to work with your body mass. You learn how to detect things that medically cannot be yet detected. Just saying. You can do things like grab somebody's lung cancer without even being present in the building that they're in or even touching their body on my testimonial page, clearly, right? So you are going through life and you can see things differently, okay? You're not crazy. You are in that top part of that pyramid where any and everything they can do, you can do better. And it's not because you are better. It's not because you see yourself as better. It's not because you're egotistic and materialistic and all that otherness. Because you have got to be the complete opposite. Because if anything I noticed, they shipped, like they, meaning me, my higher self combined with myself while I was unfolding with my spirit guides, my intuition, my divine guidance, my lineage, my ancestry taught me so much. And I started working with my Scandinavian roots. And that was that simplicity, right? I had people who were involved in my life who would be like, wow, you weren't kidding. You can walk in here and be like, I don't know who the fuck lives here. There's nothing personal. And I said, no, there's nothing personal because I am prepared at any given time to to up and go. Like that's it. This is a home. I'm not materialistic. I've released ego. Like no fucking joke. I'm very simple. I've worked with my Scandinavian roots, my ancestral ties that supersede the DNA results, by the way. Whoa. And I learned to deplug from all that. I still have family photos, but nothing that can't be grabbed very quickly. And the reason why is because my ancestor was like, it's about habits. It's about habits. Okay. It's about not having certain it's sacrifice, which is another thing that came up in the Akashic Records reading from Kathy. It's that sacrifice. When you are a high vibrational, you feel like everybody's always attacking you, especially the ones that really need to do the most work inside. Obviously, it's like a moth to a flame. Northern lights, we flame, we're flames. We really are radiant in all ways. And unfortunately, as that energy radiates from all directions of us, we we attract things that are not desirable, but being who we are, understanding the power of free will, we have the right to refuse interactions and dealings with individuals in order to prevent karmic cycles from repeating. Okay? Like for me at work, I refuse to repeat past karmic life cycles, my family's karmic cycles. I refuse to live like that. It's draining. It's emotionally damaging. It's mentally abusive. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And I sometimes will refuse to participate in somebody else's karmic lesson. Not me. Nope. Not interested. Some people come to work and they're stuck in that karmic energy. They're not where they need to be in life. And instead of them working on themselves and growing and building themselves up and changing who they are as an individual, they dig their claws in and they hold on and they do fucked up shit like witchcraft, manipulation, narcissistic tendencies, gang stalking. They'll do whatever it takes. And it doesn't have to be craft. It doesn't have to be witchcraft related. They can just be really manipulative, really toxic, really low vibe, right? And the point of this recording was to talk about how karmic cycles are coming to a close. You see how I came all the way back around again? Because everything's always in motion. And again, if you were high vibrational, you would understand what I'm talking about, kind of like an inside joke. So 3939 was on the seconds for the podcast video recording. And if you know that, that means 1111, divine guidance, divine knowledge, divine wisdom. So back to karmic cycles coming to a close, right? Like a job. If you are someone who goes to work and you really just focus and everybody really relies on you because you have that ability to be reliable, you have that ability to show up and come through, you're not narrow minded, you are multifaceted or very versatile, and you don't make people wait because you understand that you're there to do a job. And you're not waiting around to get, like, you're not trying to be the one part that slows down and makes everything else slow down, right? Because you're understanding your role as a component within a company, and not everybody has that ability to do that. So they make people wait, or they get stuck in their own energy and their own emotions or their own plate, and they forget that other people somehow, some way rely on them. And that's nothing wrong. That's their personality, that's their mindset, that's their energetic vibe. And you'll see that in people. And that's where we get the INFJ type. And, we now have personality types and labels for everything, because the physical realm requires labels for everything, and not just one label for something. They'll have like 20 fucking different labels for the same one energy. Drives me nuts. Speaking the American language is legit like learning 10 different languages and putting it into one. It's like, why do you have to have 50 words for one thing? It drives me nuts. I'm sorry. My rant's over. So back to what I'm saying, you'll go to work and you'll deal with certain individuals, and you'll notice that they have certain types of vibes. You'll notice that they, one person will just like put any and everything above everything and still get their work done. How the fuck do you do that? Back to Mr. White. Here's a real hidden gem. Thought I forgot. Multidimensional, right? So Mr. White comes in and I'm like, we're going to talk. And it's going to feel like 3 minutes. And it's going to be like an hour or more that goes by. Okay? So we're talking, whatever, whatever, whatever. And then sure as shit, he looks down at the clock and he's like, oh my fucking God, I cannot believe how much time went by. And it's definitely more than 1 hour. More than 1 hour. How we did not get in trouble that day, I have no fucking clue. But I know my work got done, and I think his did too. So I got to demonstrate to him all these different things that I was experiencing and growing through, and you're going to be going through all of that too, and you're not fucking crazy. And if anybody tries to lock you up in a loony bin, who the fuck are they to even place judgment on you? Can you do this? Have you experienced this? Have you lived through that? No? Then shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down. That's the nicest way I can say it. So, one thing I learned that you can learn from me is be very selective with who you tell your stuff to. Do your journaling, do your platform. You can remain anonymous on your platform at first, or if you're like me, you just won't give a fuck and you will not be anonymous, because this is who the hell I am. And either you love me from head to toe, or you do not get to stay in my flow. That's it. Bottom line. Done deal. So back to the judicial system too. So for me, karmic cycles was the workplace, no longer allowing low vibrational toxic people to influence, taint, mess, obstruct, block, fuck with, or delay my life. Because that's what they're doing when they're messing with you in the workplace. Okay? And I got kids to feed. And I don't go to work to tolerate anybody's nonsense. I won't do it. That's not mental health. That's the complete opposite. You're deteriorating somebody's mental health when you're constantly fucking with them every single day. And then playing like the victim. And the best part about karmic cycles closing out, if you understand that energy, is all of those basic females, those basic models, those basic men who fit in that category of the standard model issue, who are next to someone who is in that platinum edition in the workplace, they're threatened, they're intimidated, they can never catch up. They, instead of them manipulating their own self and working with their own self and growing and reflecting and changing and elevating somehow, some way, right? They're attacking you. They're hiding your work. They're messing with your work. They're disrupting the flow to make life intentionally difficult for you so that way you cannot be the person that you are and they don't look so shitty on the side of you. Slow down. You don't have to work so hard. That person can wait. I wouldn't do that for them. That's why you are the standard issue and I'm the platinum issue. That's why you sit over there and you do what you do and I do what I do. That's why they come to me instead of coming to you. So I'm not going to behave like you and do what you do. And if nobody else can see what the fuck is going on around here and they can only see the facade that you put in front of them, hey, likes attract likes. Have fun. I'm good. I don't need to entertain any of that shit. That's not mental health. That's not good for your mental health. It's not. It's toxic. It's low vibrational. And it takes down the morale of the company itself because people are only just now realizing how powerful karmic energy is. How real it is to actually be in alignment with the core values and principles of every single religion, which is technically the principles of Mayat, right? Every religion, if you look at it, 46 minutes in, so I have to end this soon. Every religion has the core like their core principles tend to overlap with others before the embellishments and the teachings, so that way we can remember the lessons. But all of them have the main components of everything that is the principle of Mayat. So every religion is to be respected, no matter what. Different strokes for different folks. But the true core of every single religion, somehow, some way, even if it's only one principle, every religion contains something from the principles of Mayat. You want to know true religion? The principles of Mayat. Okay? And then different skin groups, different races, the four. And then those branched off because greed, ego, power, the need to be in control took over and took those principles and made them into these big ass religions because we have to tell stories so that way we remember the lessons behind them and we conduct ourselves accordingly. You want to strip away all the fuckery and know what true religion is? The principles of Mayat. No joke. Check it out. So, being in these karmic cycles, when you go into work and you're dealing with toxicity and somebody always manipulating and abusing and stressing you out, and you're going home and you're like, man, what the fuck? I can't even enjoy my personal life because I have to spend the next hour or so cleansing, right? Cleansing, removing all that, defrosting all of that ice and bullshit thrown at you all day long. The negative, the toxic vibes. I would be at work and every time somebody would pace my desk, I could hear the bullshit that they're coming at me with because my first language is energy. I work with energy. That's me. Like one day I was in my front hallway inside the landing with the doors open and this girl walks by and I've got music playing and then she walks by again and she's like, she's just in there on her phone. And it's like, yeah, I shouldn't have heard you, but I heard you. Who the fuck are you talking to that you need to walk by my porch and tell somebody on the phone that I'm on the phone? Like, why is that any of your fucking business? Right? Hidden gem. Okay? We are that top part of that pyramid. And what we're here for is to uplift the vibration of humanity. How do you do that? Well, depending on your ancestral knowledge and wisdom, right? Kind of like Tinkerbell, we all have our different jobs and our different roles. And based off of the karmic things that you've been able to put to a close, you are going to help individuals, right? So, like the things I've gone through in the past, I've already proven the people who have gravitated towards me have lived through those things already or are going through them right now. And because I've already lived through them and I understand what they're going through, I'm capable of making eye contact with them and actually empowering them to get the fuck up versus me. And how does that make you feel? And how did that make you feel? And what did you think about that? Okay. So that's what most of us are about. We're about being that Heyoka empath because 9 out of 10, if you are high vibrational, you somehow, some way understand how the world works. You're in tune with the earth, which makes you a true native to this planet, a true native person, right? So you're connecting on a different level. And being in that top part of that pyramid means you're not limited to just basic standards of spiritualism. You actually have way more. You actually have ancestral wisdom, divine wisdom, cosmic consciousness. You understand the way that the planets interact with us on a different level. You feel it. The average individual who's been hurt when it's about to rain, they can feel that in their bones, right? Because the way that the water, I'm not even going to get into that and how we're 69% water, bare minimum, we should be 69% water because water is a conductor for energy. We feel that you take that experience and you amplify that shit. That's us. We don't need it to rain to know what the fuck is going on. We don't need it. We don't need certain weather conditions to affect our bodies for us to have an inclination of what's going on. You take that understanding, right? Because where there's pain, there's growth. So the average individual who has arthritis or something where they feel that pain, every time the weather is about to do something, they feel that pain. And instead of them saying, oh, it's about to snow, oh my God, I can do that. What else can I do? They just stop right there and they take medication to mask it. If your body is capable of forecasting the weather, so to speak, you've already unlocked more. You've unlocked that ability to sense energy in a different way because rain is energy, all of that nonsense, right? Water is a conductor for energy. It's increased. You know energy is increasing. Do something with that. The average person who understands what starseed terminology is and who understands how karmic cycles are, one, we work through karmic energy every single day. And every quarter, 4 quarters of the moon, we clean through. We have the opportunity to keep our karmic energy clean. And what we don't clean or maintain and do willingly with the power of free will, as I mentioned earlier, equinox and solstice energy takes care of the difference. Solstice is going to give you that one more chance. Pick that vibration up. Come on, Christmas cheer, summer vibes. Come on, let's go. Pick that vibration up. Pull yourself up out of that shit, right? It's that motivation that lotus flower needs to shoot up to the top, release itself completely before something comes through to change it. Don't stay stagnant kind of flow. We have just gotten through solstice. So people are raising their vibrations and they're seeing that the people around them may not be in alignment with where they're going. They might see that somebody who they poured all their love in, all of a sudden they wake up and they're like, whoa, you are not who the fuck I thought you were. This is over. Let me nicely separate myself from you. Go be somewhere else. Somehow, somewhere, I just got to get out of this dynamic with you, whether that's me lying to you, manipulating you, or what have you. But I'm cutting cords here, right? Or it's that job that you can no longer tolerate going in, busting your ass for, and then putting up with toxic, basic, standard issues who don't want to do the aftermarket and grow and make themselves into something that blows their mind because they just showed themselves what the fuck they're worth. They'd rather just stay that basic issue and crash into other fucking people. So you got to understand that there's layers and levels, there's polarities. As above, so is below, and that is in everything. Okay. And you're not crazy. That's just the overall thing. And everything's been happening for you, not to you. All the pain, all that stuff, it's supposed to just take you out of stagnation, which is actually called a comfort zone, and push you up, elevate you, upgrade you, raise your vibration. Solstice is bringing you up so you can see what is been. No, sorry, you can't come with me. That's it. No, sorry, you can't come with me here. So if you've lost a job, or if you've been restricted from anything that was on your path around Thanksgiving-ish energy, we had our ancestors coming in, and they started picking up craft, picking up obstacles, picking up blockages, all that stuff. They actually, and listen, you can go on YouTube, scroll back. After I did all my channelings and morning messages, I'd go and look, and I'd be like, yep, everybody's on track. I'm there. Validation. I don't give a fuck what anybody says, right? You still need that validation sometimes so you can be like, nope, I'm definitely not crazy. That's where you guys are at, and it's okay. And again, you can grab a YouTube video and you can just skim through it for keywords. I love doing stuff like that. I'll skim through for keywords, like, especially after a morning message. I'll get the information. I'll be like, okay, somebody on this platform is going to get similar information or say certain keywords that are going to validate that information. So I know it's safe to share publicly or keep to myself. And that's what I do. I'll skim through it, skim through it, skim through it. And I'll be like, yep, done, done, done. Okay. That's what you're going to be doing. So journal, whether it's video journaling, getting a unanimous platform like YouTube or a podcast where you don't give out your identity, but you deliver the messages and you learn how to trust yourself very well. And then maybe eventually you decide to show who you are because you're not in fear of what other people do, right? That's that part of releasing ego. That's that part of touching in with that Scandinavian energy that allows you to detach from the physical, that allows you to detach from ego, that allows you to be your true authentic self, right? You stay in your lane with blinders on. You don't care what the people on the side of you are doing. You don't care what the people above you are doing. You don't care what the people below you are doing. You don't care what the people at work are doing. You stay in your flow, you mind your business, and you handle your shit, and you radiate the highest version of yourself. And the right people gravitate towards you. And unfortunately, sometimes those who don't gravitate towards you, they force themselves to so they can manipulate and fuck with your life. Well, equinox energy is now coming because solstice is literally bleeding into equinox. Equinox comes very early. And of course, the date that we say is equinox energy, that's when it's at its peak. Okay. So equinox energy is starting to come through. And that energy is actually like being that, hey, don't fuck up. This is you being able to close a karmic cycle. At this point, you'd be running back to this one because it's easy and convenient. Don't do that shit. Smarten the fuck up. Because if you continue to repeat cycles, other people that are in your life are going to separate from you because you're staying stagnant. You're choosing consciously with your free will not to ascend and do better. Don't get left behind. And unfortunately, for a lot of people, though, when I was cleaning through the energy and all that other information, I got to see that again. There's still people playing with fuckery, and it could be craft, it could just be narcissistic tendencies, but they're intentionally inserting themselves and creating delays and delusions or illusions to stop someone from pursuing what they internally feel to be right, causing confusion and blockages. And that's that, again, standard issue. Or maybe that standard issue was able to do some aftermarkets to kind of look like a luxury model or a platinum edition. And now they're just being exposed for being just that standard issue. And I don't know why I keep relating into that. So I might be talking to some men here who don't really comprehend the things that I say. So they need an example. But the bottom line, karmic cycles are coming to an end. A lot of people like me are awakened or awakening, and you know if you're on this level or not. And if you're not, that's okay. It doesn't make you less of anything. It just means you have a canvas to paint, and it's not supposed to interfere with anybody else's. It's supposed to be your self growth. Who do you want to be? Invent yourself to be unique. Learn what you need to learn. Tap into certain things that you need to tap into. So, this is the Hidden Gems type of series that I will be launching on my website moving forward. My website is restricted to subscribers only, and there will be weekly, monthly readings, mediumship sessions, and channelings like this. And it would only be available to subscribers, and it comes free with a subscription. And we do a live and we just talk about whatever we need to talk about, current energy, whatever they're working on. And it's a live through Zoom. So another thing with subscribers is the scheduling. Online scheduling is restricted to my subscribers, and they do have access to in-office one-on-one sessions. If you are in possession of a gift card that was purchased before December 2021, that card will be honored in office, wherever the office is. Okay? So, Hidden Gems is going to be a series restricted to my subscribers. It is going to contain a lot of knowledge and information, like I just jammed into this session. I am multidimensional, high vibrational. I weave in and out. I don't see from A to B, from B to C. I see A to Z and all of the in-betweens and the A1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and the B2, 3, 4, 5. I see all that shit. Okay? Seriously. High vibrational people will always radiate and glow and really excel their own expectations because they have unlocked things like Akashic records, divine knowledge, divine wisdom, cosmic consciousness, DNA activation, ancestral wisdom is the key here. So, like, if your uncle was a carpenter, well, guess what? I channel all day. So, I'm going to hang out with my uncle who's a carpenter and he's going to teach me how to get through some certain shit, right? Or like this legal matter that's going on. I'm not a lawyer, but my grandfather's pretty smart and he knew a couple of people and he got to bring in people like David George, Paul Fitzpatrick, um, my cousin Ricardo Barrows, and I believe John Palmer. Some amazing attorneys that I don't think I've ever physically met except for my cousin, but I got to work with them and learn a lot of shit in a small amount of time. And just like I was able to teach my, not teach my kids, but debate with my niece and my daughter about how, you know, you replied to the wrong phone. And there's no reason why the reply went to the wrong phone because every time you text from this phone, the reply goes there. And whenever you reply from that phone, the reply goes there. So for me to text you from this phone and your reply to go somewhere else, that was intentional. And it shouldn't have happened because I know something that you don't think I know. And that's the basic life of a high vibrational. We walk around and we deal with people and they don't hold on a second. Sorry about that. So I was planning on ending this, but we're still going. So karmic cycles are coming to a close, okay? Work, stand up for yourself. Stand your ground. And if you've already walked away from these places because you've already found your worth, your value, you are already working through the unfoldment, spiritual development, and everything else that entails, you can trust and believe that this current energy is exposing the people who are doing wrong in the workplace for everything that they are and what all of that entails. You can also trust and believe that solstice energy is bringing in something different, something more positive, something that replaces any and everything that you have lost, okay? It doesn't mean that it's going to be in another job. It could just be within yourself where you start to really pour yourself into self love, into self-care and entrepreneurship, and you find your true essence, right? You use that energy to launch your own business, to really put yourself into a different dynamic, okay? Or maybe you are getting that job that is everything that you wanted, or exactly what you should have received but did not receive because of external influences, or um blockages and everything else that is in that realm of things, right? So around Thanksgiving, I had mentioned that ancestors were here and they were taking any obstacles, any craft, any fuckery, any manipulation, and they were wrapping them up into these new packages and they were delivering them back to the sender. For some people, it was the sender, it was the conjurer, it was the moneymaker who paid for all of the fuckery as well. And unfortunately, some of those money makers had no knowledge, or maybe they had some knowledge, or they knew completely what was going on and they allowed that shit. And that's their karmic return. That's their karmic justice, because somehow, some way, they played a role. They were that financial institution that supplied the aggressors with the finances that they needed to attack and disrupt the natural flow of the divine. So the ancestors came down, and these ancestors delivered all of that karmic energy back. Okay. And now those people have been going through everything that they were sending out, but in their own way. And that's something that I learned when I was working with Horus as of recently, because when I work with energy, I get to experience things on a higher level, right? So I understand that we are a northern flame, right? Like a northern light, but we are the northern flame. Ooh, I love that. I'm channeling, so I trust what I just said. So, northern flame, we are a northern flame. Our flame always points up, like towards the northern star. That's beautiful. So, this energy of ours is always burning. And whenever we go through a situation that uh, attacks us or limits us or is piling up like Tetris, it's supposed to be that fuel or that motivation to cause us to vibrate higher. Sometimes that energy can be overwhelming and it could be disruptive and it could be brutal. And that would be if we are dealing with things that are low vibrational and toxic. We're not cleaning house, we're not maintaining ourselves to the degree that we're supposed to. And when that stuff kind of happens, that's that dark night of the soul. That's that, okay, let me reflect on myself. How can I grow? How can I change? How can I correct the way that I come off to people or even to yourself, so that way this does not repeat itself and it can go away? A lot of people tend to get stuck in that, well, woe is me, I'm the victim, or, every time I go through this, I go running back to that person. That's codependency. That's toxic as fuck. And those people that you typically run back to are starting to see that for what it is. Like, this is not a healthy friendship. This is not a healthy connection. This is toxic. This is very, very, very toxic. And they're getting tired of it, pretty much, right? That's why when certain individuals run back to others, those people are not as receiving or willing to reciprocate in the same manner, because it's like, well, wait a minute. What the fuck? A lot of people are in this energy too of they're in this energy of, like the blinders are off, like the rose colored glasses are no longer rose. You can see clear now. Like there's no filter on your eyesight. There's when I said that ancestors came in, if anybody, let's say craft was involved, hidden gem for you. If you don't know what witchcraft is, voodoo, or any of that other stuff in that realm of things, that is when you conjure very low vibrational energy, very dark energy. Okay. And you send that energy to that person to do a job for you, kind of like henchmen or goons or demons, whatever have you. And depending on how you do it is how dark you get, right? And then that energy goes after that person and it pays them a visit and it stays with them and it clouds their judgment. It interferes with their thoughts. It interferes with the way that they sleep. It interferes with the way that they behave themselves, the way that they communicate with others. It affects their overall appearance. It affects like everything. It could even cause physical ailments within themselves, right? Because that's what it's meant for. That's what it's supposed to do. But what they're not realizing is everything has a price. Those types of things don't get paid with money. And just because you paid your practitioner doesn't mean it stops there. It continues. And what a lot of people don't understand is those practitioners know to clean themselves regularly because of what they're involved in and what they know that they're doing. That doesn't necessarily mean that you know that. So if you like to play with craft of any kind, and that could be as innocent to you as going on witch talk, TikTok, and learning something and applying it, well, you're still doing the same thing. That energy you sent to someone else, that that's like a spiritual transmitted disease. You know how we have STDs, sexually transmitted diseases? There's spiritually transmitted diseases. So when you send something to attack someone, whoever they're intimate with or closely involved with or heavily interact with, those people get affected by it as well. So if you did a love spell on someone to make them leave their partner and come be with you, that entity that attached itself to your partner to cloud their judgment and to stop them from feeling the way that they're intended to, or sometimes you can't even mess with that. Sometimes they'll still feel, most times, they still feel that passionate feeling, but their mind is so fucked up, they don't understand, and that causes them to be in inner conflict. And that masks them from ready for symptoms like seeing a doctor. We get the symptoms and we're so focused on symptoms that we don't go after the root cause. It's like a distraction. Remember, as above, so below in all ways. So when you are dealing with that kind of a thing and you don't know it because you're distracted with all the symptoms, meaning, why am I in such inner conflict? Mentally, I feel this, I'm thinking this way and I'm seeing things this way, but I still feel this way and I don't understand why. Well, that energy is now an STD. It's a spiritual transmitted disease, demon, not disease, demon, pretty much, because nothing of high vibrational would do that. So the spiritually transmitted demon is feeding on your person while it's affecting your person and it's taking away things from that person. But whoever that person's involved with gets affected by it too. And then when that person comes back around to you, you get affected by it too. So then when things start affecting you in different ways and I don't know what happened, he came back to me and everything was great and now all of a sudden he doesn't want to be with me and he hates me and blah, 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 and I don't know why. Goes around comes back around, right? Not to mention the fact that after the job is done and he came back to you, well, now that thing is attached to the both of you and you're in the same fucking house where you're crossing paths a hell of a lot more. So now you're feeling the same heaviness and weighed downness and what's wrong with me kind of flow that he's feeling or she's feeling because of the energy that had initially been sent out to attack it and do its job. So now you're both going through it. And then you go and you get a reading and you're like, I feel like I've been spiritually attacked. Oh my God, that fucking bitch attacked me. Meanwhile, you're being affected by the bullshit that you caused and you created because you did not properly remove and maintain it. Right? Because if you cleaned your partner would see you for who you are and would have left your ass a long fucking time ago. So instead of you being your true authentic self, you're being affected by this thing as it's going back and forth between the two of you. Not to mention after you got what you wanted from it, it comes back to you for its payment. And it's not going to accept Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, debit card. No, it takes energy. So you have to clean yourself. And that's a lot of work. And the best part about all that is the more you clean yourself, the more the people around you get cleaned because that energy is getting cleaner. which means your person starts to see you for who you really are, which means all that shit you just went through was in vain because you still lose out, which is why they say what goes around comes back around. And the way that you get your person is the way that you lose your person, right? And working with Horus, I got to see that we are that northern flame. Our flame goes up. It's beautiful. It's different flows. It's really nice. It's light. It's incredible. And I got to see that the aura is literally like millions of layers of like, it's literally like an onion. It feels like it's like an onion. And then on the outside of that aura is this energy. And it was weird because it was like, it's like a clear white energy that's round, and it goes all the way around the aura. It's actually like not touching the aura. There's space like in between the aura, but it goes all the way around. And then there's like a weird part of it that's different, almost like the root of it. And when I was asking Horus about it, because I like to channel higher vibrational energies, that's what makes us different than mediums and why we're on a different tier of things, not because we're better. We've just accessed certain parts of ourselves or are part of certain lineages or whatever, based on your um, karmic lessons you're capable of, right? Like you want a degree, you have to do the work. You can't just take it from someone. You actually have to do the work. Um, Seriously, there's no thievery in the spirit realm because you don't get away with shit. Trust me. It comes back around one way or another. And whatever was taken from someone, it comes back 10 times better. Believe you me. So it doesn't matter how long you think you got away with something. Trust and believe you did not. Um, so I was looking at that spot and I was like, okay, I'm channeling Horus. I got questions. I'm not letting this energy get away until I get my questions answered. And I came right out and I asked, I was like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Like, I want to know what that is because I understand all these parts and I love biology. Love biology. I had the best science teacher at Durfee High School. Her name was Miss Riley, and she hooked me on biology, just the same as Mr. Baba Lilla hooked me on Greek history, which we call mythology. Um, Love it. So when I was talking to her and we were dissecting all of the different layers of the aura and stuff, I'm like, what the fuck is that? I want to know what that is. And she was like, that's the future. That's the way that the past energy comes back around. And it comes back around differently based on the way that you ended things in your past cycles, which is why it's so important for us to pay attention to the 4 primary quarters of the moon. Full moon. Well, you got new moon first quarter, full moon third quarter, new moon again. I always start with full moon. I love the full moon. Um, and I love the way that the energy is so vibrant with the full moon. And a lot of people hate the full moon, and I don't want to get on that right now. We'll talk about that later. So the way that we close off things, thus these current karmic cycles, and we're actually dealing with like era level of karmic cycles, like collective, like all kinds of shit, like governmental stuff, judicial stuff, um, healthcare stuff, like all that stuff is in play here with this karmic energy. This is our chance to do better. Okay, this is our chance to improve. This is our chance to supersede anything we've done in the past, so that way when that energy comes back around again through the front, and this is even better because I got told something that somebody was going through with their eye, which was not the first time I've come across somebody with problems with the eye, which allowed me to understand how our life is literally the eye, thus, which is why Horus was the one teaching me these lessons. Um, so that part, that darker part of the outer parts of our aura is like the um what is that? Is this the retina? I don't know. I'm sorry. I studied, but I got the overall lesson and ran with it. I didn't care about the third dimensional word terms and shit. But the color part of your eye, the part that the information comes through, is that same spot. So the energy as it comes out from behind you, those, right? Because we have chakras. I don't know why we call them chakras, they're membranes. But these membranes that we have that we call chakras also exist in our aura, and they exist behind us, right out around our flame. Okay. And what they do is that the way that we end things, it takes the good and the bad and it kind of breaks it down a certain kind of way. And it comes through like these almost like nerve endings, right? Energetic nerve endings, and it comes back out. And the universe does what it does because everything's in rotation, right? Everything is in rotation. Nothing ever stops. Everything's always in motion. And then it comes back around. Now, based on your vibration, that lens that we call our eye, right? The eye of the future. We can see the future, right? That eye, Horus's eye, if our vibration is low, we only see certain parts of the information that gets brought through. And the parts that we can retain is the ones that come back in again for us to repeat our karmic cycles. The ones that we've closed and we've healed from, we don't see them at all. They're at the bottom, right? Like they're not in our view. They're not anywhere near our view. So we don't see them and we don't have to live through them anymore. But then we'll see things that are new to us because some of us elevated our vibration so we can see not only just the karmic lessons we need to complete, but so much more, which is those moments of opportunities, those moments of abundance, those moments of expansion and growth, ascension. And then those new things come in and we meet new people and we have new experiences and all that stuff is there. It's so important to realize that certain things can't be missed because the divine is in control of everything. We have free will, but the universe really controls that free will. It's like the parent who gives the kid selective choices. So keep that in mind when you're dealing with all of your energy. I can keep going for hours and hours because I am a like boatload of information. I love channeling. I love doing all of that, which is why my website is currently under construction to be revamped to accommodate the different subscribers based off of their energy and the way that they're going through their lessons and their vibration and what they're allowed to see and experience and what not. Um, I'm kind of really excited about it because I learned new features of like giving them their own individual page, their own individual HTTPS where they have their own password and they can kind of go in and the whole website literally is on one page for that one individual where they have that live chat with me and they have this and they have that. And it's just amazing. It's amazing. I'm really excited about all of the things that I'm going to be doing differently with my clientele to help them ascend, to help them come out of being stuck and limited because they feel restricted based off of their ancestry and their divine abilities and ascension, right? It's okay to be that standard model. We were all that standard model, okay, at one point, and we grow and we come back even better. And if you have not, it's because of past cycles. And it's your turn this time around to really start from scratch and build yourself back up. Those standard models is that hit that rock bottom, but propel yourself the fuck back up. Don't get stuck. Go buy those aftermarkets. You want to be smart in something. If there's ever something I don't know, I Google, I YouTube, I research the shit out of it and I teach myself it and I own that shit. And that's it. I keep going. I don't allow things to hold me down. If I don't understand something, I'm not going to lie. I have one friend specifically that I call and ask him everything. Like, how do you do this? How do you do that? Why does this happen? And then I'll vent to that person and I'll unload with like diarrhea of the mouth. And that person will give me raw feedback. Like, you're such a fucking, I love that. No judgment, no filter, no censorship. And that's another thing with karmic cycles. A lot of people in their friendships are realizing that their friends aren't really who they are. I'm sorry. I don't ever want a friend who sugarcoats shit to me. I want you to say it like it is. No, bitch, that dress does not look good on you. And it's not because I think your boobs are incredible in it and I hate you. It's because the color washes you out. How about we try it in a different color? Same style, different color, right? Let's try it. You love the dress. Let's find some other color so it can bring out those features in you, right? A friend doesn't just tear you down and leave you there. A friend kind of tries really hard to help you grow and be the true authentic version of yourself without hating on you, without trying to limit you, without trying to throw shade on your shine and stunt your growth. And a lot of people are realizing that they have those fake friends where they only come around when it's convenient, or they only come around just to keep things going, but they don't really have that true authentic friendship connection with them at all. Um, and then there's those friends who just follow the ebbs and flow, where like, oh, well, I know so and so and I'm related to so and so and they don't like so and so. So even though I love the shit out of so and so, I can't hang out with so and so publicly because then all those motherfuckers would judge me. Well, then go fuck yourself. You're not a fucking friend. See you later. Kick rocks. Don't need it. Right? Hidden gems. So what else can I give to you guys? So that whole future thing, you really want to close out these karmic cycles. Pay attention to the four quarters of the moon, right? The four quarters of the moon prompt emotions out of us. So if certain people are really sensitive to the moon, where every full moon it's chaos and oh my God, I'm depressed every certain time of the year and I don't know why. You got karmic lessons that you're working through. And if the moon's affecting you heavily, you got a lot of shit to unload. So start paying attention. And if you need help understanding how the moon cycle affects you karmically and how you can use that moon cycle to release yourself from toxicity and things that are delaying you and causing stagnation in your life, you can inbox me. You can inbox me, info@divinity648.com. Or you can book a session with me. Book now at divinity648.com. Or you can call or text me and I'll schedule something for you. Personal consultation. We'll rip through all those different layers of your aura if you're willing and ready. So the thing about the future though, it comes through for us and it delivers things to us in a different way with different people, different issues. Sometimes it's the same people, sometimes it's the same issues. Again, it matters with the way that you leave things behind. So when you go to a reader and a reader tells you something, it's not for you to hold on to it. It's for you to take that information and see how you can grow with it. Like if you tell me something, I'm not holding on to that. If I don't like that shit, when that time comes around, nope, done. Not taking it, not dealing with it, not putting up with it. I'll go in that direction. Thank you very much. I'm not interested. Right? Because you've already been there, you already done that, you already know how it's going to end. You don't want to repeat it. Wow, I really sound like my guy friend right now. So funny. So again, karmic cycles. Use the moon's energy to prevent them from repeating themselves. Pay attention to the red flags that you always get, but turn them into red carpets. You do not want to walk down that red carpet to your own self-destruction. You've already been through this. You already dated someone like that. What the fuck is wrong with you? You're not here to save everyone. You're here to illuminate their path. If you see that you really love someone, but they're toxic as fuck, well, I'm sorry. I gotta love you from afar. I love you from afar because you're not changing, you're not growing, nothing's changing, and that's stagnant. And we are energy, we are constantly in motion, we are flames. It's that Tetris thing, it's going to keep building up. Okay, so you want to elevate and raise up, or you want to do something to work with your flame, right? Um, we have things like blue flame, we have violet flame. I love the violet flame, purple flame. I've been working with that since like 2014. I started really working with the violet flame. So basically, it's like an amethyst, and you literally see this violet flame engulf any room or any place or any situation, because it could be, spirit realm that you're working with, like your love life, your heart chakra. You want to transmute all that negative stuff and you want to turn it into pure energy, right? That's the whole point of keeping your chakras great. There's so many different things I do when I do energy cleanses and chakra balances and alignments. I work with all flames at all times at once. And I love that energy. And we just clean through everything. Everything. We heal, we grow, we transform, and we transmute negative energy into positive energy. Science, quantum physics, right? Molecular science, biology. You learn so much when you're spiritually unfolding. and you learn how to make things work. Like the other day, I posted on my morning messages that I learned how to do work with my reflexes, using essential oils, just sniffing them too, not even digesting them, but just sniffing them. And it was so on point that when I went into the kitchen, my son hit me one spot and I had food fly out of my mouth because it was just I told him too, I was like, listen, I'm really sensitive. All my nerves are like up on the surface. So whatever you do, you push here, something's going to happen over here. So just fuck off. And he took advantage of it. And he karate kicked me in my thigh, and the yogurt that I put in my mouth literally flew and hit the floor uncontrollably. So you get to learn all kinds of incredible things, right? You learn how to do body scans on yourself, and you get to see the things that don't belong there, and you work and you surround it with energy. And karmic cycles, karmic lessons. I had an opportunity to remove a mass, and I was told not to. I was told not to. I was told, leave it there. You don't need to touch it. You'll need it later. And I never really understood why. So when my doctor, Dr. Pinto, Suzette Pinto, I think her name was, um, or was it some Mitri, Joanna Mitri? I can't remember. It was so long ago. They said, do you want to take it out? It will be a line like this. And I was like, no, absolutely fucking not. I'm not walking around with a big ass line going down my throat. No way. Leave it in there. If it's not cancerous, leave it there. She's like, no, it's not cancerous. We're going to leave it there then. Fine. Now comes around, actually about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer. They kept triggering me. You got to take that out. You got to get in alignment. You got to get that out. You got to get that out. And don't let them biopsy it. And I made sure I listened because I trust. I trust. And I said, you cannot biopsy. You cannot poke me in any way with a needle, period. Just take it out. And then that doctor ended up finding an incidental. And lo and behold, when I scanned myself and said, I have cancer, or I have some cancer, or some type of cancer, this has to come out now, or I'm fucking screwed. When he took it out, it was in the very early beginning stages of cancer. Well, being high vibrational, you start working with higher vibrational energies, and you start really becoming in tune with your body, and you start learning different things. And if you did do the work and you understand biology and quantum physics and molecular science, and you really understand the way the blood works and the way it goes in between and all the different things, and the way that the body can heal itself. Body can heal itself. Isn't that amazing? And we know this to be true because we see it heal itself. We give it assistance, but we've seen it heal itself. It's amazing what the body can do. Our heart beats and we don't tell it to. It's amazing. Don't you think that's kind of magical? Kind of, sort of, maybe just a little. Um, Seriously. I don't know, you open up a machine and it does everything that it's doing because man made that machine function that way. You open up a body and you see everything that it's doing and it functions the way that it functions because the divine made it function that way. I think that's amazing. So let me get back on track. Bottom line, I'm a bowl full of fucking information and I'm tired of containing it to myself. I know there's others like me who are constantly growing and expanding and wanting to explore cosmic consciousness and unlock certain parts of their brain so that way they can function and be more productive in life and more happy in life and remove those things that are restricting them and keeping them stagnant and beneath the things that make them feel complete. And if they are not willingly and consciously doing this and feeling this and making changes to be in alignment with this, the universe has already kicked into gear, right? So in morning messages, I had made it very clear that we are in a new era. That happened a while ago. And I talked about things like Ra touching down back in 2018. And I talked about things like Oya and Kali coming through, and Kali basically ran around and painted everybody's mask gray, everybody's ascending sign gray, everybody's ability to be manipulative and narcissistic was painted gray. So that way, moving forward, when they're dealing with individuals and they want certain individuals to see them in a way that is not true, those individuals will actually be able to see what they're supposed to see, but also question it, because the energy that seeps through behind that mask, thus your flame, will radiate and pop off that gray, right? Like if you walk into a room and everything's gray and there's one black ball, that black ball is going to jump out, it's going to stand out, and it's going to show you everything. If you walk into a gray room and you see something orange, that orange is going to pop out drastically. So what Kali did was she painted everything gray, everybody's masks gray. So that way when people are dealing with each other, they can see through and see people's true intentions, true motives, which was in alignment with what is going on with this current solstice energy, because solstice raised everybody's energy up so that way they can see things clearly. They can see things from a higher perspective. They can be in alignment with their true self. And if they see things that are no longer in alignment with who they are and where they want to be, they can make a conscious decision and exercise free will correctly and release themselves from persons, places, things, ideas, emotions, perspectives that are not in alignment with their true self. A perfect example of the mask is right here. You see how she's holding up a mask and she's looking at it and it's a different color and there's darkness around her, and I'm sorry for the glare. But there's light that shows her the mask correctly, and the darkness is everywhere else. The light is showing through. So what Kali did was she painted things gray. So that way when the light shines down on them in their moment of glory and being manipulative and playing their role, you should have been able to see them for their true essence, their true color, their true intention, their true motive, right? Or even your own. Sometimes it's your own that you are being exposed to. And this solstice energy is doing that. And what Oya did was, Oya was that force. She was that light. She was that storm. She was that chaos, that put everything into motion, right? So people who had that momentum of keeping things going, that momentum, that energy, that I'm this, I'm that, I can do this, I can do that, and I look like this, and da, 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 playing that facade, and they had that energy that they needed to keep going. Well, while they were going, they were moving so fast with that force that Oya put through, that they did not realize that the mask was gray and that people could see through. So they kept doing what they thought they could get away with, not realizing that they were leaving trails and breadcrumbs and evidence to discredit everything that they stand upon. Yeah. Yeah. And those are the people who are sitting with anxiety. Those are the people who are forced to think about their actions and the consequences of those actions, and how everything that they put out and did incorrectly or unjustifiably or undivinely to certain individuals, it's going to come back around now. Because remember what I said? When I was working with Oya's energy, she showed me that darker spot being the eye, the eye that the information comes through, energy comes through, that portal of energy. And then it comes through to your aura and it filters through and it affects you the way that it's supposed to based off of your free will. Um, so that energy of equinox is starting to seep through, and it's causing a lot of people to have anxiety and sleepless nights because they're not in alignment with where they're supposed to be. And either they're not in alignment with where they're supposed to be because somebody or something is causing restrictions and blockages and it hasn't been released yet, and they haven't had the energy that they needed from solstice to remove themselves from it, because they're probably still confined or restricted, worried about what other people think and how other people feel, or they're worried about consequences instead of taking that chance and trusting the divine to catch them, to, uh, you know, have their back. Um, and that is where that equinox energy is going to pick things up, and that force that Oya brought through, that chaos, that fuckery, where they get so caught up in their shit that they don't realize that they're unraveling. It's like a thread. You keep going, you don't realize that thread got caught, and eventually it just starts raveling really fast. And the next thing you know, that sweater is completely gone, and there's just a trail of thread behind you. That's what equinox is about to do to everyone. So if you're not using this energy right now, this time right now, to do the work that you need to do and focus on your spiritual development, and when I say spiritual development, I'm also talking about emotional growth. The way that we grow from a newborn baby to an adult, we do that emotionally, we do that mentally, we do that spiritually, we do that energetically, we do that in all levels. Our aura grows with us, all that stuff happens. And if you don't grow healthy in all ways, then you're going to be restricted and you're going to lack in other places, right? Which is why you become that standard model issue instead of being that platinum edition. You didn't take care of yourself in all ways. Okay. So, what else? So it's time to start really thinking about things, and not necessarily in the way that you've been thinking about them. It's time to do things really different. It's time to just own your shit. So if you're having anxiety and you can't sleep, and you're still ping ponging between a couple of different people and all this otherness, you really have to ask yourself, well, what vibration am I vibrating at if this is still the priority in my life? If I'm still going to a job that is internally destroying me and affecting me, not just at this job, but when I go home, what kind of vibration am I on? How much do I love myself? How healthy am I, mind, body, soul, spirit, energy? You can't be. You wouldn't be going through that if everything was great. And I'm not saying everything has to be great at all times, but if you learn how to work with the moon, you understand the power of water, and you start applying all of the knowledge that all of these scientists and amazing people have accumulated over the years, you realize you don't have to live like that. You don't have to deal with any of this. It can be so much better. So you really want to do what you need to do and trust that intuition. You want to trust that core. You want to learn the principles of Mayat. You want to understand what karmic energy really is and how you really can't get away from it. It really is going to come back around. It never stops coming back around. Your perspective, that lens, that future lens, that's what controls what parts of that karmic energy comes back through again. Make no mistake, you can be like that fallen angel energy and drop that vibration, and all that fuckery and all those past karmic cycles that you thought you completed come right back in again. It's about you keeping that vibration up high enough so you don't have to endure it and go through it anymore. Stop dating the wrong kind of people. Stop being in a relationship with someone that is not fulfilling you the way that you know you need to be fulfilled. Stop staying in dynamics and situations just because it's expected of you. You are your true flame. And by you limiting yourself based off of external influences and restrictions, you're never going to reach that potential growth. You're not going to be that lotus that finally makes it to the top of the water, that has no mud on their petals and gets to enjoy that sunshine. You know, it's like that caterpillar thing too. I tell my clients all the time, you have to understand death different. We are like caterpillars, right? We are caterpillars. We have a neck, but not a very big neck, right? So our perspective and our consciousness is limited to based on what we can see and what we can experience, because that determines what we can actually comprehend for some reason. I don't know why, but that's just how it goes, apparently. Um, Not really, but kind of, right? Because we have third eyes too. So yes, that is how it goes. As above, so is below. So you're this caterpillar and you're in your own world. Meanwhile, there's people like us walking around driving cars, but that's completely like irrelevant to that caterpillar. There's no way that caterpillar is saying, "Oh, there goes a Mercedes Benz driving by, black SUV. Up there goes the Honda Accord driving by. There goes, it's not worried about the cars driving by. It's not worried about the people walking around. It's more in its own world, its own life cycle. And when it goes into that cocoon, no different than us going into a coffin, don't you help but wonder, ooh, is it scared? Is it worried? Does it think that it's going to sleep and it's never going to wake up again? What does it think is going to happen when it feels that need to go into that cocoon? Or maybe it just knows, I'm going into this cocoon and I'm coming out a butterfly. I've outgrown things that no longer serve its purpose. I'm done with the anchor boots being cemented down. I'm done with that low vibrational toxic energy. I'm ready to supersede science and technology and show the world that I can go from a caterpillar into a fucking butterfly and fly around and be something so much more. Well, here we walk around and we do what we do, and then we go into our coffins or into our death, and we come out this amazing, incredible, bodiless northern flame. It's literally like northern lights. It's a flame of energy, and we can do all the things we want to do, and we can experience things in so many different ways. And the reason why they come through like orbs is because everything has an aura. Everything. This planet has an aura. We call it an ozone layer. This planet has an aura. Everything has an aura. We, as above, so below. You better believe that shit. It's in all levels. Um, so we have like an aura, which is why we show up as orbs of light in cameras and photos and stuff, and even with the naked eye. Actually, with the naked eye, you don't really see them so much like a solid round orb. Like my son got to experience orbs with the naked eye, right? He went to go get pasta, and the pasta, the sauce wasn't right. Something wasn't right. Something, it felt like something got added into the pasta sauce. It just wasn't right. And he went and inserted himself, and he's like, "Ooh, I see nothing but red over this." And when I looked, I could see the red energy, and I'm like, yeah, that means one serving and no more, and if that. And he did. He didn't overindulge or anything. And when I tasted it, I was like, ooh, I don't like this. And we tossed the whole thing away. We didn't even eat it. We went out and got pizza. But he got to experience it, and it wasn't an orb. It was like a flame of stretched out energy that just said, no, not good. Don't do this. And I saw the same thing, and I felt the same way. And when I tried it and tasted it, I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm not interested. Right. So we get to experience things like that. We get to see those energies just like that. When we come back, we may not be coming back as a butterfly, but it's no different than the caterpillar into the butterfly. That caterpillar was in its own life cycle. It did not think about us or the cars that we drove or anything about that. It didn't care about us. As a matter of fact, it probably didn't even know we existed. Thus, we don't know what exists out there. And then when we pass away, or those caterpillars pass away and become butterflies, and we become spirit, we're still in this same life. We can still go and flutter around our friends, our other caterpillars, our other humans, and interact and see and check in and do all those amazing things and so much fucking more. Right? Because now the butterfly knows, oh shit, there's a human. Oh shit, that's a car. Oh shit, that's what the plant looks like from a different perspective, because now I'm not a caterpillar crawling all over the place. I'm a butterfly looking down, seeing the other caterpillars crawl all over the place. I see things differently and I understand it differently. So the transformation of death is just like a caterpillar into a butterfly. Humans are like the caterpillars, and the butterflies are like the people who pass over and transition. You're not gone. Life doesn't stop. You keep going. And it's not devil's work to do mediumship. I'm sorry. You know, it I've heard a lot of like hurtful things be said about me. A lot of crazy things be said about me. And it's like, I could not have been more blessed than I am. I am so grateful for every drop of craft ever wasted on me, because I've transmuted all of that into abundance. It doesn't matter how long it takes for it to get to me. I know what I did, and they did too, because it didn't work when they did it to me, right? So I'm grateful for the misfortunes. I'm grateful for the hardships. I'm grateful for financial constraints. I'm grateful for karmic lessons. I'm grateful for the people that I've had to remove from my life because they didn't know how to value and appreciate others in their lives. I'm grateful for all of that. No matter what comes out of my mouth, I'm always grateful. And I appreciate it, and I still give unconditional love. And you know why? Because without those triggers, without those moments, that motivation to pull me up, out of that stagnation or that karmic cycle or that like the Tetris levels, right? That motivation to pull you up so you can become that lotus that sits at the surface of the water and you get through all that murky, muddy water with all the weeds and stuff that were meant to hold you down. I'm grateful for all of that because I would have never challenged myself to just want more energetically and spiritually and emotionally and mentally. I would never have forced myself to value myself in a different way. Okay, which is why my clients who subscribe to my website have access to something called the Guide to Self Love, right? There's so much more in play for me. And no matter what people have done to me and continue to try to do to me and lie on me, the truth always comes out because I am who I say I am and I do what I've proven to do. And there's a reason for that, right? I was talking to one of my clients today, throat chakra, weird, right? And I explained to her, I was just like, we go through things for a reason. We really do. I promise you, we do. And if you're going through negative things right now, you need to ask yourself, what haven't I owned? What haven't I owned? What am I not being truthful about? That's it. You have to own your shit. That's the key to this. You follow the principles of Mayat and you don't really have the sufferings that a lot of people have anymore. Okay? You go to every religion and you will find somehow, some way it relates to the principles of Mayat. Okay? And the most important thing that I got from my conversation with this woman that I spoke to today was like, it really is okay to grow and change and be more inside. It really is okay to own your shit and say what needs to be said, no matter who you don't please or who you expose in the process. Because at the end of the day, the way that you filter out everything that you say or don't say, do or don't do, it is going to come back around. Everything is always in motion. Your vibration determines where that eye of information is and what is allowed to be absorbed by it, which goes into your aura, which is like your filter. It looks like an onion, and it eventually gets to the core, kind of like a rose, right? Your roots absorb only certain things and it makes its way up through the stem and it gives you the nourishment that you need so that rose can blossom. It's no longer a bulb. It's beautiful layers, and there's all kinds of layers to those rose. All those rose petals fall in the perfect place. That beautiful unfoldment of spiritual development. Um, that's so important. It's so important, and it's important for you to have patience with everything going on in your life and own your shit. And I don't know why I'm repeating this, but whoever comes in at a certain point and start skipping around, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant why I do what I do the way that I do. But my website is being customized in a way that is going to cater because it's not one size fits all. It's not one spiritual journey fits all. We all go through different things and we experience different things and we learn different ways. And a lot of shit was said during my awakening, my process, my unfoldment, right? Okay, you know, people who would smile in your face and acknowledge the phenomena that they experience with you would lie and talk shit to other people because of the way that others, admired it or perceived you. It's like, whoa, you can't like her more than you like me. What the fuck? That's horrible. Your karma's here. Those who played those roles, by the way, I don't know why I'm bringing this up. Your karma's here. you know I mentioned before, like around Thanksgiving, that ancestors came with these gifts and they were delivering everything back to senders and they were clearing the paths for their descendants because ancestors always want to see their lineage continue to grow. It's like a gardener. You didn't just plant that seed for a reason. You want to nourish it and keep it growing, and you want to see it reach its end result, its end goal. So your ancestors, it's no different. They're like front and center. How can I help? How can I get my descendant where they need to be? Because I'm not trying to have my root die. I need more plants out of this seed. You know what I'm saying? So they came around and they re-delivered all these things, and the gods and the goddesses and the saints, which are also gods and goddesses, we just downgrade their abilities and their levels of comprehension in ways that they can interact with us so that we can comprehend it. But really, they're all the same. They're all gods. They're all goddesses. They're all benevolent beings too. I keep hearing that word for some reason. Um, they're amazing, and they're here, and they're always here. And what they did was they took away, when this new era came through, right before, like with COVID and everything, before COVID actually, when this new era came through, it was teaching people to come up, defend yourself, stand your ground, right? Black Lives Matter. Enough is enough. China. China was being overthrown by its people. The people were challenging and winning against its government. And then the next day, fucking COVID hit. Okay, fine. Before China and around that time, people all around the world were defending themselves and working through things and standing their ground, not just with government, not just with medical, not just with teachers and people of authority, but with themselves, with their family members, with their friends, with their environment in general. That was the new era. That's that new era that's coming through. It's that let's take charge. Let's own our shit. And it's not to be aggressive and combative and an attack mode. It's to be more empowered, to realize that you do have a flame and you are in control of that flame. That's called free will. And you have constitutional rights. But just like there's constitutional rights, there's divine rights, there's divine laws that supersede anything down here. And spiritual conversations with God. And when I ever use the word God, I mean all gods, all goddesses. I use the word God as the root word to gods and goddesses. Okay. So when I talk to God and I have my spiritual conversations, I'm talking about real injustice. I'm having debates. We're watching First 48 Hours and I start having spiritual communications like, can you believe this shit? This dude, he died over $5, a freaking 5 bag of weed he got murdered for. Like, this is crazy. And we, I get to learn their karmic lessons, more good stuff about being high vibrational. But this new era that these gods have already put into play from way before COVID, and it did start in China, and it was the yellow skin god who was really like pushing that independence and stand up for yourself energy, and it was amplified, and I mean boom, amplified. Um, that lesson isn't going away. That energy is not going away. That's the foundation of this era. This is that take control. Knowledge is power. Learn the judicial system, because the judicial system makes everything go round. And if they want to get rid of you, they're going to use the judicial system to do it. Either they're going to confine you in a mental home, they're going to lock you in a prison cell, they're going to put fake charges on you to limit your resources and ability to support yourself financially. Because if you can't get a great job, if you have a criminal record, the judicial system is how they do things. So you educate yourself in the judicial system so you can be your true authentic self in society. And what they told me was, yeah, Black Lives Matter. Let me fucking tell you, a lot of powerful gods and goddesses are Black. A lot of them. Majority. Okay. And that's because they found that balance. They found that balance, and they're high vibrational, right? So that white light, is up top. Listen, I'm not getting into all that, but bottom line, you know, Black Lives Matter. All lives seriously do matter because we have 4 human races here. There's only 4. And each 4 belongs to a very powerful God. And those 4 gods, they were never against each other. Those 4 gods that created the 4 human races worked in harmony. They worked in harmony. They loved each other. They gave each other knowledge. They came together to create human life, not destroy it, not tear it down, not need to conquer one over the other, but to come together. Okay? This new era, that whole new vibe is going to be to use the judicial system to fight oppression. I'm not kidding. So there's going to be a huge influx. You're going to see it. It's coming. I'm saying it now. December 27th, 2021 at 11:14 a.m. This isn't the first time I've said it. It is going to be people learning the judicial system to fight oppression, learning the law to fight the law, okay? Learning the law to fight toxicity in the workplace, using the law to fight domestic violence, sex abuse, sex trafficking, challenging the law, not to stay stagnant as it was 25, 30 years ago, but to grow, and to see that the law can be wrong too. That's what the SJC is for, by the way. When you see that the law is wrong, you do the work, you get the templates, you type that shit up, you put the evidence down as to why the law is wrong, and you send that shit out. SJC, congressman, whoever. And you keep sending it until you get a response. And it's okay to be dormant for a little while. It's okay to be silent because you're being oppressed elsewhere. But just know that the divine is in charge. And no matter what people do, no matter what obstacles they throw, ancestors showed up when they were supposed to. They cleared those paths around Thanksgiving. They sent everything back, right? Thanksgiving, people were really upset. You know, I had somebody call me, why is it so crazy in the Freetown Forest area? Why is it so crazy in Mattapoisett? Why is all this going on? You better know you are living on sacred ground where millions of people were massacred unjustly. Unjustly. And I said karmic cycles are huge this time around because we're in a new era. It's closing out era type karmic cycles that didn't get closed out from the previous eras. Racism, the need to control populations because the love of money and greed and power, Bitcoin and all that shit. You think that's something? Currency's really about to get fucked with. I remember like a year or two ago, I was talking to somebody at a pawn shop. I love going to the pawn shop for kids' electronics and like jewelry and good finds because you get good deals. And I'm not materialistic and I don't care what anybody fucking thinks about me. So I'll go up in that shit and go shopping. What you got for me today? And I remember telling her gold. And she's like, yeah, silver and gold. I heard it on TV. I'm like, gold. And then I come back around and I meet with her and I'm like, oh, how was everything? She's like, it was only gold. It wasn't the silver like they said. Really? Trust me. You want gold. Gold? We're going backwards, right? We're closing karmic cycles. Gold. Trust me on that. It's gold. Gold coins. Gold currency. We're going back to the old school shit. Trust me on that. So, hidden gems, as you can see, I can go anywhere, everywhere. I can delve into any topic at any given time and make it tie into other things. I'm not crazy. I'm not delusional. I'm not just psychic. I'm not just a medium. I love stepping into energy and I love giving people the knowledge that they need when they need it. Sometimes they need it and they don't know they need it. So, Divinity 648 has a platform where I do morning messages, and it has a website where I help with ascension. And clients can reach out to me directly for more information, or if there's anything I've discussed in this episode that makes them want to explore, grow, or change. I know the difference between a genuine client and someone who's just looking to snoop because they're still stuck in that toxic energy of attachment, codependencies, and needing to be in control and being superior, which is why everything's locked up tight and it's by subscription and membership and screening only. Learn, grow, change. Learn the 4 quarters of the moon, understand karmic energy, understand that we are closing serious chapters here. We are in a new era. Third dimension's gone. A lot of people are unconsciously releasing themselves from, they're unconsciously releasing themselves from codependent, toxic situations. Some of them are doing it consciously, depending on their vibration, right? Back to the beginning of this whole thing, 2 hours in. You lost third dimension probably around the beginning of the year, somewhere, I think December-ish, January last year. And the lowest vibration that people vibrate on now is fifth dimension. So a lot of people are waking up to psychic stuff, tarot cards, understanding that there's more. There actually is mediumship and life after death. And, kind of like my guy friend told me once, at church, the guy, the priest or the pastor said, it's the end of the world. And we were curious what that meant. And I was, I'll never forget that because I got that lesson like weeks before that person said that to me. And I was like, oh, it is. Because we're going into a new era. Third dimension is going away. Fake facade shit is going away. People's shit is being exposed for what it is, which means people are waking up to real spiritualism, real spirituality. They're realizing the difference between religion and spiritualism. They're realizing that religion is the man-made version of spirituality and that you're supposed to be going within. And the reason why we have churches is because they're supposed to be buildings of protection so that way we can really go within. Because back in the day, the average individual didn't really have that security, like monk stage where you go within for hours at a time and you focus on self-growth and, spiritual solitude, and you unplug from the human world and you tap into your ancestors and your true God, your maker, your individual maker on a deeper level, and you get in tune with your body and you get in tune with your ancestors' ways, and you keep on with that tradition that is unique to your lineage. But I didn't say all that to him, of course. And I was like, go with the flow kind of deal. But really what that meant was it really is the end of the world as people know it. The planet grows, it ascends just like we do. It grows. It never stops growing. It never stops changing. Just like, again, you go on NASA. I don't know if I said it in this recording or not, but I've said it in morning messages. You go on NASA's YouTube page, they have the sounds of all the different planets. Well, you overlap all of those sounds and it makes one major song. And that's the vibration of our immediate galaxy. It's the vibration of our solar system. Um, it's the vibration that we give off into the galaxies all around us, right? And then their vibrations combined with our vibration, and it's a whole nother sound that gives off to an even bigger part of the cosmos. So it's really amazing, and it's a lot of stuff. It's just beautiful knowledge. Really beautiful knowledge. And I don't know why I needed to say that again, but just like that, our energy does this. Our energy gives off that same energy as well, those same vibrations, those sound waves, right? Those sound waves, our vibration speaks loudly. So when that statement of it's the end of the world as we know it, well, yeah, we're now vibrating on the fifth dimension. Everyone is on the fifth dimension. That's telepathic communication. That's more information coming through in the dream state. That's more spiritual encounters. Mediumship type situations are happening to the average individual, whereas only psychics could do that before. And again, there's nothing wrong with being that standard issue model. You are at that point right now where it's red pill, blue pill. Which one do you want to take? I don't know. I like the red pill. I took the red pill and now I have the red pill and the blue pill, and I don't give a shit because I can have balance between the both of them. Fire and water. Red pill, blue pill, right? So the average individual is now sitting there understanding that, okay, we were all slipped that red pill somehow, some way when they took the third dimension, because now we're seeing things and experiencing things differently. We have no choice. And a lot of people are either combating with themselves or staying in denial or holding everything within themselves because they're afraid of judgment in the way that other people are going to perceive them, or they're actually demonstrating the knowledge and their ancestral guidance and wisdom. And that's that part of, the standard model issue. You now got aftermarket upgrades, right? You're doing more with yourself. You're growing, you're changing, you're not staying in that original state. And that comes with patience, that comes with unconditional love, that comes with unconditional understanding, compassion, um, but more so for yourself. The goal here is to keep that on yourself, right? Not to be selfish here. But if you don't love the shit out of yourself, you can't expect other people to love the shit out of yourself. If you don't respect, honor, and value yourself to be in alignment with who you are, so you're not living with inner conflict and you can't sleep at night and your appetite is fucked up and now you got physical ailments going on because of mental constraints that affect us physically after a while. Um, you can't do that to yourself anymore. Okay, so spirit realm is working with us to ascend collectively because the planet is ascending basically. And we're giving off different types of vibration out into the cosmos, and for a reason, because everything has to grow. Everything grows, everything plays its role. And I guess it's important for me to say that out loud again for some reason, because somebody's just not capable of wrapping their mind around all of that. But that comes with patience, you know. That comes with patience and self love. This new era, self fucking love the shit out of yourself, because when you love yourself so much, you don't attack other individuals. When you love yourself so much, when you see things in other people, right? The heyoka thing that I talked about earlier that I stopped talking about. When you love yourself so much, you start seeing yourself in other people instead of seeing the great parts of other people that you wish you had in yourself, right? That's the whole point. See the things in others that you love and embrace that within yourself. Find that within yourself. Not to copy other people, but to be your true, authentic individual self. Another thing that I always talk to my clients about is like how the color wheel applies to all of us, right? Let's say that we are yellow, we are the color yellow, and we interact with other people, and they're the color blue. Okay, the more we interact with them, the more our yellow turns into green because it's a combination of the two, and then we become the green altogether, right? Back to when COVID first took on, we had that green color, right? That collective energy of ascending and standing our ground and being independent and working with our throat chakra and doing what we need to do. um Spiritual solitude, or whatever COVID was supposed to cause for us, that isolation, was that point where we are not interacting with so much blue. So we have that ability to cleanse ourselves and see ourselves for who we are again, thus returning back to the color yellow instead of green, right? So it's really important to clean your energy and maintain yourself so that way you're vibrating your true authentic individual self, right? I don't know why I needed to say that the way that I said it, but I did. Um, so this new era is about standing your ground, learning the law, learning how to it's growth. You have to apply all of the knowledge and information that you have to overcome the things that are holding you down. And don't be so stuck on like the egotistic part. Like that's a big no-no in this era. Big no-no in this era. No egotistical attachments whatsoever. You really need to work on that too if you haven't released that already. Let me think. Anything else that I forgot to say that I promised I would squeeze into this? No, I think I've given you guys enough. I think I've given you guys enough to realize who you're talking to and what you're working with here. I am just like the average individual, born here, born into a family full of karmics, right? We all grow up thinking we're in a family full of karmics. We've got nothing but assholes. Then we ascend, then we grow, then we realize that all the lessons and hardships that we've ever been through helped us to become the individuals that we are in this present state, in this world. And what we do with where we've come to is completely up to us. You can hold it in and act like you don't know shit. You can suppress it and forget all about it. Or you can acknowledge it, face it, run with it, trust it, take that leap of faith, learn who you are inside, work with your ancestors more, love the shit out of yourself, keep your vibration up, stand your ground, love yourself so much that you refuse to tolerate less than you deserve just because it's what's expected of you. Because that's going to be sad when you missed out on a lot of opportunities because you were so worried about what the next person was thinking and feeling towards you. Um, because when that person goes, or those individuals meet other individuals and they're no longer a major influence in your life, you're the one that lost out and missed out on so much trying to keep up with appearances. And a lot of people are stepping out of that codependent energy of needing to hold on to those appearances. Um, Self healing is also something that is going to become really dominant in this era. Learning how to work with your energy, listening to your body more, trusting the way that you feel, fruits, water, veggies, nuts, more naturally grown food, less of that, let me spice this shit up, GMO type stuff. Like, what the fuck was people thinking? GMO. You are what you eat. So keep it real, authentic, naturally grown, as natural as possible. Um, that's so important. And a lot of people are going back to that too. Farming is coming back because they're realizing how important that shit really is. Again, we're closing cycles here. It's okay to admit that you're wrong. The law can be wrong. The government can be wrong. It's okay to own that shit. And if we don't own that shit, equinox is coming and energy is going to come into place and it's going to force that shit to be owned. Okay. And you don't want to wait for that point. So do the work, love yourself, love the people around you, love them enough to respect them enough to leave them the fuck alone if you don't have anything positive to bring into their life. Love them enough to allow them to move on with their lives. Love them enough to respect them. If you really love someone, you're not doing witchcraft to hold on to them. You're allowing them to vibrate their true authentic self. If you love someone so much, you're not using narcissistic tendencies and behaviors and traits to hold someone in a specific situation. You're allowing them to be their true authentic self. You should love someone so much that you respect their free will at all given times. And if you hate someone so much that you want to fuck with their free will, man, Equinox is going to handle that ass. I'm just saying. So do what you got to do. Love your shit out of yourself. I can't keep repeating myself. This is ridiculous. I don't want to give anything else because as other stuff is coming through, I'm like, nope, that's for subscribers only. That's a whole nother episode where I'll be breaking down the color wheel and the way that all these things really affect us. And again, if there's any questions on anything that I've discussed in the 2 hours and 15 minutes that I've been doing this morning, info at divinity648.com or book now at divinity648.com. Email me for correspondence and we can work. And it doesn't matter where you are because I do everything by Zoom. In-office sessions are available to those who can make it up to the second floor and are subscribers to my program of growth and development, in really pulling yourself up out of the fuckery, right? Owning your shit, and learning how to let go of things. You can't sit here and say, I'm ready, and not do the work and release yourself from it. And there's a lot of people right now, here we go. I thought I was done. There's a lot of people right now who are rushing to correct themselves and correct their behavior because they don't want to be left behind or they don't want things to come to an end. And it's unfortunate because the way that they're going about it is not the right way. It's called clear communication. Clear communication. Say what needs to be said, do what needs to be done. Stand the fuck up or sit the fuck down. Stand the fuck up or sit the fuck down. That's it. And if you cannot be what someone needs, then you need to be okay with that. And you need to work on yourself. And you need to trust that some things fall apart so better things can come together. Somebody needed to hear that. 1414 on the clock, which is 55 energy, which is the energy that prompted me to start this video. Um, Massive transformative information, knowledge, tendencies, perspectives, everything is changing. So that way you can really bring yourself up and really be about this new era of change, right? This correction of all of these karmic cycles that have been going on way too long. Um, there's no more oppression. You're not oppressing anyone. You're not obstructing anyone anymore. Things are changing. So get with it. Or when equinox energies come around, and they come around in our moon cycles, the 4 quarters, right? 2 of those quarters are solstice energies, and 2 of those quarters are equinox energy, which is why, if you're really sensitive to the moon, back to what I was saying before, you want to really learn how the moon affects you emotionally, so that way you can get through these karmic cycles within yourself, so that way you can be stable mind, body, soul, spirit. And if you're struggling financially, there's nothing wrong with struggling financially. And I don't think anybody struggles financially if their bills are getting met. It doesn't matter how it's getting done. If it's getting done, it's getting done. Do what you got to do and grow. Don't be happy with where you're at. Obviously, things are not going right because, one, you got hating ass bitches throwing shit on you. Two, you are in a dead end situation and you are being pushed or motivated to level the fuck up, ascend, and exceed where you're at, right? Get out of that comfort zone. Or three, because everything really is done in threes. The universe is prompting you to challenge yourself, to see who you are and see what you're capable of and what you're made of and who you're exactly meant to be. So stay in alignment with yourself. And I can keep saying this over and over and over again, because that is the overall message that everybody needs to get, is really just do the fucking work. Stop being the blockage and start being that light that lights up the path for other individuals. The judicial system and the government has their own laws. They have to listen to the people. You don't like their laws. You learn those judicial ways and policies and procedures, and you fight back using the judicial system. And the best thing about the judicial system is everything stays on record. Everything. Everything. Right? Everything. So you go into the Register of Deeds, you can look up a property and you'll see every deed that was ever, anybody's name that was ever associated with any type of property, right? That's their mark. I was here. My personal photos and all that shit disappeared, but you go into a courthouse or you go into a Register of Deeds and my ownership of that land is still there. I'm still here, kind of flow. Same thing with the judicial system. Courts, when they make their findings and their rulings, they reference past court cases. They do. Those things never go away. You can be the change. You know, there's something called abuse of power. There's something called the color of law. There's violations that are taking place on a regular basis and becoming common practice. And it's up to individuals to learn that law and actually use that law to fight back, instead of rioting and acting out and allowing the law to even overcome them more. Sorry. Um, I channel, and everything comes through in various ways. So that's the message. And again, I can keep going and I can keep throwing more instances and examples in, and the overall message is still going to be the same. You are in a new era. We've been in this new era since before COVID. The era is about releasing codependent situations and focusing on spiritual solitude and growth and love, self-love, unconditional love for others and yourself, forgiveness, being okay with releasing people from your life. Even though you forgave them doesn't mean you have to keep them in your life. You can forgive someone. There's something called tough love too. You can forgive someone and love someone and have unconditional forgiveness and love and still hold somebody accountable for their actions, especially when they will not hold themselves accountable. Um,
What else? The new era. The new era is about loving yourself enough to be with the person that you love, even if it doesn't fit into the perfect picture or the ideas of others around you. Um, this new era is about self healing, body healing, learning more about the body, respecting the body in a different way. Um, Respecting religions and history for what it is and not what we want it to be called, i.e., stop calling Greek mythology mythology. It is not fucking mythology. That is history. That is real facts. Just like Christian and Catholic, and all those other things, you've got the Greek ways, and I've learned a lot with Greek mythology and those gods, and understanding the power behind all of that. And it is fucking beautiful. And the fact that we've even disregarded it and called it mythology is just a disrespect to it and in its entirety. Another thing that I've learned, with the information that is relevant to the new era is, tables have turned. Accusers are now the accused. Everything as above, so is below, which means, spirituality is now going to be more dominant than religion. Spiritual ways are going to be more dominant than what society has allowed them to be in the past. Shitting on people's spiritual perspectives and spiritual ways is not going to be tolerated. It's actually a hate crime now, and that's going to be exercised a hell of a lot more in the upcoming years, that are accumulated in this new era, and it's going to change a lot of things for a lot of people. The world is changing as you know it because of all of this that is in play. Um, we vibrate higher naturally now. We have other planets that we've never ever seen before, but have always been influenced by, now in our sight. And that's only going to continue to come closer. There's other planets that we have not seen yet that are much closer to us than we know. And there are rotations coming in, which is affecting not just the planets that are in rotation with us, but us as well. Um, you know, I was talking to a client of mine earlier today, and I stopped this because I didn't think I was going to share it, but apparently I am. Where last winter, I didn't care for the snow. I didn't really want to deal with the snow because I didn't want to drive in it and deal with it. And then I got like a lot of like nighttime moments of, we need the snow, we need the snow, right? Like whenever I do my work at night and whatever, and I get to listen to things when I'm vibrating in the astral, I got to hear the things of like, Christmas is here. I won't have the money for Christmas because I'm not plowing, I'm not shoveling. That's my bread and butter. And this year, last year, when I told my firm what I was doing and stuff, they were like, fuck that, who cares? And I thought about that and I'm like, yeah, okay, so next winter, fuck that, who cares? Like, you should have been working all year round, busting your ass, making your money, and doing what you need to do. Those are your consequences, right? Supposedly. So, just like I have consequences, so do you. If you did not work your ass off all year, you did not get that snow to count on because it's an inconvenience. First of all, it is not supposed to snow in southern New England the way that it snows. That shit's for fucking New Hampshire, Maine, um, up there, not here. No, it's not. It's not. Okay? That is not the natural flow of the environment. It is not supposed to be like that. People are actually supposed to be able to dress the fuck up in stilettos on New Year's Eve and actually go about their shenanigans and go to these venues and really bring in the new year without worrying about slipping and falling on fucking ice and snow and car accidents and chaos and all that other bullshit. That's not the natural flow of snow. So this year, I told myself, when I was doing spiritual communication, I don't want to fucking see a goddamn drop of snow until Christmas Eve. That's it. I don't give a shit. And I only said this to a certain few people because I needed to do that for whatever reason. And I don't care what people think of me. I don't care if you think I'm crazy and I need a fucking mental health check. Trust me, my doctor already gave me one. They did. And I passed that shit with flying fucking colors. I've been mentally evaluated. I'm not fucking crazy. But I didn't want to see snow. I just got a new car. What the fuck? I'm not crashing my shit. No. So I said I don't want to see a drop of snow until Christmas Eve, and I want it gone before New Year's so people can dress up and actually bring in the new year in a different way, right? Be happy, dress up. Like, dress up, be yourself, love yourself, even if you're not going anywhere. That's what it's about, bringing in the new year with a higher vibration. And if you're stuck in the house and you got snow everywhere and it's all fuckery and muddy, and that kills the vibe, and it's too fucking cold. So yeah, so she calls me up and she's talking to me, and she's like, I got this, and it was a Christmas miracle from my grandma. And I'm like, baby, no, it wasn't. Because I'm a friend and I won't lie to you. And I've got another friend who can validate that I've actually said very loud and clear, it better not fucking snow until at least Christmas Eve. Period. End of story. That's my Christmas miracle. I'm willing to compromise. I compromise every fucking year. And this year, this is where I'm compromising. And I told her straight out, like, nope, sorry, that wasn't you, that was me. And it's not to shit on you or discredit anything of your belief. It's to give you clarity and understanding that there's bigger forces in play here. And you can communicate with those bigger forces that are in play. And they will accommodate the best way that they can, just so they can show this is a whole new way of living. And spirituality is dominant over anything. Over anything. God is real. And God is not one. God is many. Many. This planet is very fucking old. Very old. And the planets all around it are old. And the cosmos are older. And the planets in there are even older and bigger. Much fucking bigger. Like to the point where the galaxy wouldn't even be so dark if one of them could go into rotation and move the fuck out of the way. Um, and when that shit happens, I can't fucking wait, and I don't think I'll be alive for it, but I know it's gonna come. Um, Grow, change your perspective, boss the fuck up, be better. Don't try to hurt people anymore. There's a lot of gods, a lot, and they listen. They listen to everything. And the way that we say, oh, God sees everything, of course God sees everything. Horus has one eye sees everything in the day, and one eye sees everything at night. And the eye that sees everything at night is as people's intentions, their motives, their thoughts, their feelings. And the eye that sees during the day is their physical actions, their physical lack of actions, and everything that realm entails, right? They're true, it's the same thing with the scale too. Left side, spiritual, right side, physical. Okay. Um, the sun would be the physical, the moon would be the spiritual, right? Dark day, night day, balancing out the scales. What you do in the dark, does it line up correctly with what you're doing in the light? What you're doing in the light, does it match your true motives and intentions in the dark? Kind of deal. These gods are really real, and they're very active with us in different ways. And we've done a lot of embellishment over the years to make one religion more desirable than the other, and really have control over the followers by imposing certain restrictions, and thou shall this and thou shall not that. And really, it's like, first of all, these gods, I'm not shitting on Adam and Eve. I'm not shitting on any religion, but what I saw was these gods literally found balance between their feminine and their masculine side. They were able to split themselves in half and mate with themselves and continuously start that population. It wasn't, because that was another thing I always asked. And this was my Christmas miracle to me, because I've always wanted to know. Because reading the Bible, it's like God made Adam and Eve. So where did everybody else come from? Because you know, there's four human races. Uh, that's incest. The Bible says you can't do incest, but if it only made Adam and Eve, where did everybody else come from? Because that's clearly incest, and that's disgusting. Because not only were you sleeping with each other, but you were sleeping with one another's kids. You slept with your own kid. Like, what the fuck is going on here? And that's when I got to the real lessons of the gods and the way that the four human races came to be, and how these gods came down and they split themselves in half, right? A feminine, masculine side. and they mated with their higher their selves, and they created the human race that is relevant to their existence, which is why there's pure different human races. um and they continuously did this until they had a general population, and they taught these groups of people their true core principles, morals, values, and ethics. And they all sat together, and one group of race actually held on to those true authentic, like the way that it was said, the way that it was delivered. They noted it. They didn't add the embellishments or anything. They just kept it the way that it was. um and then the people who didn't have access to those straightforward information, they only had it up here. They would tell stories, and the stories had morals, and the moral of the story was the principles and the true parts of those true teachings from the four primary gods. um that fifth god that comes into play is pretty much not only just the planet that we're on, but it's the energy that is what we call gravity. That is a force not to play with. Um, and again, that brings me back to Isanami, no Mikoto. And though the teachings were just beautiful, the way that everything came into play. So I don't know why I'm telling you all of this. I guess people just need to understand that there's a lot of knowledge to be had. And I have been so blessed with focusing on myself and growing within myself and loving myself enough to be okay with going within and trusting the knowledge that I get, and then going on the internet to kind of see how it all intervenes and correlates and plays out. And I apply that with everybody that I deal with. And that's why I'm so selective with who I deal with, where I work, who I work with, and what lessons I'm willing to participate and live through, and at what points I'm willing to stand up for myself and say, fuck this, enough is enough. I'm going to use the law to fight my oppression, because I've had enough of you shitting on my energy and disrespecting me and calling me crazy and saying I'm delusional, and my precognition ain't shit. Brings me back to that court case stuff. It's like the things that were said about me in that on that court proceeding, I was like in shock, and I didn't even really know how to handle myself. And that was just a repeat of karmic lessons from when I tried to open a business in the city of Fall River. And I had a former city council person stand up and completely lie and shit on my name so disgustingly. And then I had an officer do the same. And it's like, you know what? Every lie that they did, I came back with evidence that they were wrong. I came back with evidence to challenge them, to make them see I ain't fucking stupid. I am an INFJ personality type. I am a Yoga empath. I am a high vibrational individual who has tapped into energy that supersedes your fuckery, you know? And that's why people in the workplace get intimidated by people like us, because they think that they're smarter or we're dumb, and that what they're thinking and doing is going to really fuck with us, to a sense that we look incompetent and incapable. And in all actuality, what they're doing is they're cheating other individuals out of beautiful experiences, because they're tainting their perspective of certain individuals who are meant to be in their lives, that are meant to help them grow and impact their lives the way that it should be. Kind of like the whole China was ready to throw its government to the fucking trash can, and then COVID-19 happened over there. Smarten the fuck up. Apply the information that you have. Learn about the human body, learn about karmic energy, learn about the real history of things, and accept things for what they are and not how you want them to be. That's where everything went wrong. So many people wanted things to reflect so many different ways that they created new words and new processes and new licensure and more ways to control this and more ways to control that. And you're not, this is illegal and you're not allowed to do this unless somehow, some way I can make money off of it. Isn't it funny? Massachusetts allows us to smoke cannabis now, but they only because they can make money off of it. Before, when they weren't capable of making money off of it, it wasn't allowed. But now that money can be made, it's allowed. It's kind of like one time I was watching a documentary on some mob people. I love learning different. I study people. I want to know why you do the shit you do, how you do it, where your thought process is, what was the results. Like, I love karmic cycles. I love studying all of that. One second. Um, so when I was watching it and I was looking at everything unfold and I was applying it to the information and the things that I've experienced, I'm like, wow, those motherfuckers are no different than the fucking mob. It's just organized crime. They're just strategic in how they can grow and make money and stay in control. But if they can't grow, make money, and stay in control, then it's illegal. And once they figure out how they can grow and make money and stay in control over something, it's no longer illegal. It's like the parent who always gives the selective choices. So I'm going to end this here, start my day. Um, I hope that everybody got the information that they needed, or here's a glimpse into what it's like to be high vibrational. So that way, when others are walking around claiming to be high vibrational energy intuitives, you can seriously question them and you'll be able to tell, because the masks are gray, they're not anything but. And when you claim that you're something, you have to be able to back it up, and the information will flow through you uncontrollably when you're channeling, versus being forced and remembered and I came out wrong. No, shit don't come out wrong. Everything comes the way that it's meant to come. And when you're high vibrational, you are multidimensional, and things come to you from all different angles, from all different points of view, from all different directions. And you understand things in ways that make sense, but the average individual just doesn't vibrate high enough to comprehend. So you got to have a lot of patience and a lot of understanding. And you have to be able to weigh those scales correctly to determine who is worthy of that patience and understanding and who is not. So be true to yourself in this new era. Love the shit out of yourself in this new era. Be truthful. Follow the principles of Mayat if you choose to. Learn other religions if you choose to. And don't be so closed minded. Remember what I said about the butterfly and the caterpillars and, us and the cosmos, and, we have our own life cycle, not really understanding or knowing what other life cycles are out there that are way bigger than anything that we can comprehend or even see. And just understand that when we are oppressed, when we are suffering, and when I say we, I mean high vibrationals, our energy changes, our glow changes, the color of our northern flame changes. And that radiates and that impacts the overall sounds that this planet makes. And when that sound is different and the other planets are vibrating and that overall sound is vibrating out to the cosmos, it no longer sounds the way that it's supposed to. And just like a check engine light comes on, the universe has things like that too. And that's why we're all of a sudden starting to see things in our rotational, and wow, it will take us forever, millions and millions of lifetimes to get there, but we can see it now. Well, they see you too. They saw you before you saw it. So, no, I'm not saying alien invasions and all that other shit. I'm just saying the same way that these planets affect us, right? New moon in Taurus, Capricorn, retrograde, Saturn, all this other stuff. We now see that planet. We're getting affected by that planet. That vibration of that planet is affecting us. Thus, we are all ascending. Thus, we are in a new era. Thus, the third dimension is gone. Thus, the fifth dimension is the only platform that everybody's on. So, therefore, everyone has got psychic abilities at this point. Put that information together. We now have another planet that is influencing us. No, we can't take a spaceship over there yet, but we're learning.